All right, friends. Well, welcome to the bonus video for this week. We're going to look once again at John 1, the beginning of the Gospel of John here. And last time, we looked at this first verse, En arche ein halagos kai halagos ein pros ton theon kai theos ein halagos. Now that you're a couple weeks in, a number of those words probably look familiar to you. You've had a number of them. And on your practice sheet, if you've worked on it already, by the way, I'd recommend doing that first, is pausing this video, printing out the practice sheet, sit down, try to translate to the best of your ability. I've given you the words that you don't know, and then what I've done, I give it to you once, and then if it shows up again, I just underline it, which is the sign to you to say, hey, look up above, it's already there. That helps you memorize vocabulary that's coming later that you haven't actually had yet, but it's signaling to you that it's on the sheet and you have it. But try to work through it and do some scripture, and then we can go through this together. This bonus video can act kind of like the grading session or the process session with the professor or whatever you want to think. So let's go ahead and do it. So we looked at the first verse last time, but again, En arche ein halagos, in beginning or in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was, this word was shows up a bunch of times, ein, imperfect of third person singular of eimi, so it's just he, she, it was. You don't know that yet, but I give it to you. And the Word was with, preposition, God, which you've had, and God was the Word, and the Word was God, right? Those are convertible prepositions there, okay? Now, let's keep going. So hutas you haven't had, but you'll have it in a few weeks. And this case is just going to mean he. I'm going to hesitate to say more than that now because I don't want to confuse you. But he was in, and then arche, he was in arche, which you've had before. We actually already saw. What case is arche? Right, it's dative because that iota subscript gives it away. And by the way, the fact that it's paired with in should not surprise us. That's what we would expect. We would expect it to be a dative there. He was in beginning, or in the beginning, with God again. Okay, so in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. So we've seen a dative now, we've seen some nominatives, and we've seen a few accusatives. By the way, there's a good chance, I realize, if you're a Bible student, that you have these first few verses memorized. I would really encourage you not to just write this all down from memory. That doesn't do you any good, right? Well, maybe it helps you with your memory homework or something, but really try to go through this and let the Greek sentence speak to you. Let it tell you what it is, and learn to really trust the Greek in that sense, okay? That's going to develop those translation skills that we're really going to want to use, okay? So even if you know the verse, really slow down, translate, don't just go from rote memory, okay? So here we go. Verse 3, panta, all things, or everything. D autou, D is a preposition that's coming up in a class period or two. All things, it means through or on account of. In this case, it's working with the genitive, so it's going to mean through. But did you notice the genitive here? Okay. Now this is, I don't want to be confusing. Of course, we always got to start somewhere, and we can't have everything super sanitized, everything you know. In this case, if you've worked ahead, by the way, this will make sense to you. If you haven't, don't let this confuse you. But this preposition is going to change its meaning based on the case that follows it, whether it's genitive or accusative. So in this case, it's genitive because this means through. So it's sort of like this word is governing the case of this word because this case is determining the meaning of this word. Again, if that's too confusing, just delete that from your brain, don't worry. But in short, all things through him. I know you're probably tempted to say his, but again, it's only there because it's pairing with this preposition. All things through him were made. This is a verb. You haven't had this verb yet. All things through him were made, and without, same thing, him, were made, udehen, not one thing. Now there's an interesting editor's issue here in this text that I'm showing you. They have a period here. I actually think the period should probably go over here. Without him was made, not one thing, which was made. One thing which were made. Okay, so we kind of gave you this whole phrase here because a lot of that you didn't know. Okay, but we'll keep going. En auto, in him. And then we have zoe ein. En auto. What case is this, by the way? Can you parse this for me? Okay, masculine or neuter dative singular is correct. In this case, though, it's just masculine. Why? What's the antecedent? That's a big word that's coming up in a few class periods. The thing that this pronoun is pointing back to. What's it referring to? Yeah, it's the logos, isn't it? Which is Jesus metaphorically, but grammatically here it's logos, which is masculine. So this is masculine dative singular. Okay, so in him was life. Okay? Or you could say life was in him. It's flexible that way. Okay? You can do that. And kai he zoe ein ta phos, and the life was ta phos, I gave to you, the light, ton anthropon. Let's go ahead and parse this one for us, okay? Maybe you know anthropos, and you're able to look at the ending and that own ending, which is really, really common. And you go, oh yeah, anthropon. Okay, that's masculine genitive singular. If you don't know that, where else could you look? Yeah, you could look at the definite article right there, couldn't you? The definite article will tell you. The definite article never lies, okay? So it's paired here. I've done this illustration before with students, is that you could have a word here that you've never seen before. It's long, it's scary, it's ugly, it makes no sense. It just seems like the worst possible word that could be there, but you can parse it. Why? Because there's a definite article out in front of it, right? So in this case, you know that it's genitive plural, okay? Genitive plural. And it happens to be masculine genitive plural because you know anthropos is masculine. But the definite article is your friend. I just can't emphasize that enough. It's just so important to realize that it is your friend, okay? So, and life, or the life, was the light of man. Okay? And then verse 5, kai taphos en te skatia phine, kai he skatia auta u katalaben. Okay, so, and the light in the... Now let's go ahead and do this. Skatia, you don't know. It's a word that you don't know. I gave it to you on the sheet, so you know it. But can you parse skatia for me? And again, you might be thinking, Nick, this is super unfair. How are you making me parse words that I've never seen before? This is so unfair. This is why Greek is so hard. I can't believe teachers do this. No, you know it, don't you? Because you see te right there. You know that it's feminine dative singular because you know your definite article, right? So, and the light in the darkness, Scotia, like Scotland, like Nova Scotia, the Darklands, Nova Scotia, New Scotland, the New Darklands, that sort of thing. The light in the darkness shines, or in English we would probably move that around a little bit, right? We would probably say, and the light shines in the darkness. That's okay. Remember, Greek can be really flexible with these word orders. And so this ente skatio we see as kind of a unit. We see taphos as kind of a unit. We see phine as a unit, which of course you don't know. And then kai is sort of a unit. It's just kind of introducing that. But we can kind of move those puzzle pieces around as needed, right? As we translate those. Not in the Greek sentence, but as we translate them in the English. And the light shines in the darkness. Kai haskatia, and the darkness. Now, what's going on here? What's going on with auta? Can you parse that for me? What's the lexical form? What's the case gender number? This is a little confusing. There's actually a full class that we'll do just on autos because it's really versatile. But hopefully you can parse that there as masculine, or excuse me, as neuter, nominative, or accusative singular. okay? And if you have trouble with that, notice if you just cut off the ow on top, on the front, you're left with ta, which looks exactly like the definite article for neuter, nominative, accusative, singular, right? So, and the darkness, ooh, what's going on with ooh here? Means not, yes, not. So that's going to make this verb a negative. The darkness has not overcome, has not understood, something like that. The darkness has not overcome or understood. And then this is our accusative in this case. By the way, if something can be nominative or accusative, it's going to be so confusing, we're never going to know. No, in this case, it's super easy, right? Because obviously our subject is right there. And so that's the subject of the verb. The darkness has not overcome or understood auto, it. In this case, we know that it has to be the direct object. It has to be the accusative, right? Because it's receiving the action, it can't be the nominative because we already have a nominative, right? So context will always, the grammar will always vet that out for you. The context will help you with that. So that is some translation there. We saw some nominatives, we saw some genitives, we saw some datives. I'll do a dative, we saw some datives, and we saw some accusatives. We saw lots of different ones, okay? And so again, these are the building blocks of the Greek system. This is how they are put together in order to build sentences and grammar and all that kind of stuff. We want to let the Greek speak to us and tell us what it's doing. Keep practicing, friends. This is good. We're digging into Scripture. This is what we want to do. Even if it's a little foreign right now, the more we do this, the light bulbs will start coming on. You'll start to have more and more that you know. Keep practicing your vocabulary. Rewatch the videos if you need to. Spend some time every day going over Greek. Try to make time for it, okay? That'll help you get better. We'll see you next time. God bless.